Here's a song that I wrote, and this is dedicated to the great Chet Atkins, who showed us all the way. And this is the man with the green thumb. I think I'm getting excited about.
That's right. Posters.
Posters. It's a very special time. My new matron's just arriving. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
I'm terrified.
So am I.
So am I,
actually. I've got some items.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Man. Oh. Got the Southern Cross here. CGP written beautifully there. And the kangaroo. Yeah. Isn't it gorgeous? Holy moly. What's the neck made of?
Rosewood.
It's a rosewood neck.
Yeah, Andy made that specially for
Isn't it gorgeous?
That's a one-off.
Yeah. The first sounds that it made.
Not a bad tune for a trip to Ballarat, is it?
That's beautiful. Custom shop, that's good. Isn't it gorgeous?
Sound neat and CGP.
Yeah.
It's nicer than a block.
My second personal.
And
Second personal.
a lot of work into that.
I know he has. Let me see.
It's like a worried mother.
Ah.
feel?
It doesn't feel like any other Maiden I've ever played. It
Oh,
feels,
no.
it feels completely unique. No, it does.
That's a good thing.
It sounds got a Maiden sound. There's somewhere there's a bit of Gibson or something.
Yeah, until the bottoms come out in it.
Yeah.
It's got that sharp top end and that deep bottom end and the mid range isn't there yet.
The voice is good here.
Yeah, the tops are really responsive. And your mid range and bottom end should soften up and it should start to sound more maiden.
I haven't played in regional Victoria, wow, for must be through 5 years almost, I guess. The last 3 visits, I think, to Australia, I played capital cities. And I said to my promoters that I wanted to come back to the country centres. So we played everywhere from Cairns, Townsville, Rockhampton, Mackay, and we also did Wollongong, Camden and Newcastle, Armidale. So I did all the bigger country towns kind of thing, you know.
Because quite often international performers like yourself, you skip the smaller venues and I think people miss out.
Well, put it this way, you're never going to get rich playing these kind of places. It's, but I come back here because this is where I come from, you know, and sometimes I play even smaller places, and it's good for me and it's good for the audience. And at the end of the day, you know, you got to put the audience first. That's the important thing for me, and so that's the reason why I play these kind of places. I play theatres like this all over Italy and France, but they're even older than this, you know, but about the same kind of capacity. My earliest memories would be hearing my mother play and having her show me how to put my fingers on the guitar and how to strum. But my mother told me that music was in me when I was born. She said that I wouldn't sleep unless there was music on during the day. Like a normal baby would sleep most of the day and wake up, eat and sleep again. She said I wouldn't sleep until she put me in front of the record player, and then I would go to sleep. And then when I was a little older and was walking, when she'd put a load of washing in the machine and pull the lever at the side and you get the machine going, as soon as she'd made that noise, I'd come running into the laundry so I could dance with the washing machine. And then a little bit later, my brother and I shared the same bedroom for quite a few years while we lived in Gunnedah, and I used to rock myself to sleep up until I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And so everything had to do with rhythms and grooves. And I think that in my early ages, in my early time, kind of prepared me for how I use groove now. When I play and I lay the groove in, you can see it just gets through to people, you know. The other underlying message is we all follow our parents' footprints somehow, somewhere in our life.
On that, do you think you have?
I think I've followed my mother's steps, definitely. I don't think I'm anything like my dad, although I don't quite know that. I know I have my father's widow's peak in his hair, but I think I'm a lot like my mother. Well, I think like a band when I'm playing, you see. I don't think I'm just a guitar player. I think like a band. I'm an orchestra when I play. And I think you've got to do that. You've got to think outside the box. You know, if the guitar is my chosen instrument as far as expressing myself, but I don't feel limited. I don't mean technically, I just mean in my mind. And, you know, some people hear me play and they say, I could have sworn I felt drums and bass in there, you know. But it could be an oral illusion, I'm not sure. But sometimes I think I hear it too, you know. And one night I was playing at a show and I did this long drum solo on my guitar like I did. And this old guy came up when I was signing autographs and he starts to heckle me and he says, I heard a tambourine up there, you've got things going under the stage, you've got a computer under the stage. And I said, did you hear a tambourine? He said, yeah. I said, I must have been doing it right, because I actually made the sound on the guitar. I go looking for the sound. So the guitar's a wooden box with strings on it and a neck. And basically, I try to use every part of it. There's a microphone inside my guitar, and I crank it up. And I try to make a sound like a bass drum, snare drum, toms, congas, bongos, shakers, a tambourine, cowbells, and that kind of thing, claves. I try to make and find all the sounds, plus other ones that you can't get from normal percussive instruments that you can get on the body of the guitar. Every now and again I hit the wall and need to sleep seriously. Sometimes if I've got a night off, instead of, sitting up watching a movie or I'll play my guitar for myself for a little while and go to bed at like 8 o'clock and sleep through till 6 in the morning. So every now and again I get a little catch up, But I've always been one of these people who I've only got to have a 5-minute power nap and bang, I'm back, and sometimes without that, sometimes it brings yet another dimension to what I do. Sometimes if I go on the stage and I know I'm exhausted, I reach even deeper and then something great happens, I remember one time I was really exhausted. I'd been really working hard in America, and I got to St. Louis to the Sheldon Concert Hall, which is probably the most important show of that whole tour. And during the sound check, I just suddenly burst into tears, and it was exhaustion. I had nothing left. And I thought, how am I going to get through this show tonight, And I was all weepy. And anyway, so my dear friend Gina, my manager, she went out and got some chocolate and coffee for me and tried to kind of jack me up a little. And I had a shower and got ready and that. But just before the show, and just as the guy was about to announce me, she came up behind me and she said, just remember, it's not you playing. And she pushed me out like that. And man, that was one of the greatest shows I ever did.
And I imagine once you see the audience and they get into it, it changes the whole dynamic.
It does. And there's nothing like playing for people and looking into their faces and see that they're not thinking of their troubles right now, and that's the whole thing. I want people to forget their troubles and let their guard down, and that's when all the stress runs out of them. And so it happens before they even can do anything about it. It disarms people. Home is everywhere. I'm home right this minute on stage. This is my home. But my physical home is in Nashville, Tennessee, and I bought a little house there. And people think that I live there because of the music scene, but I actually like Nashville, and it's affordable. Nashville's a really good town. There's a lot of Australians there, and there's a lot of good friends of mine who live quite close. And it's the town where, if you want to hear good music and you want to meet some great musicians, that's one of the best towns. What I want to do is to be able to slow down a little bit, to be able to afford to slow down and have more time with my children, to write more. But my main goal now, apart from getting better at what I'm doing, my main goal is to start my own label and to sign and seek out good young guitar players and give them a helping hand, and help them to get their show together, help them to get their music out there to the people and set them on their way. And that's really what I want to do. I want to help the younger generation of guitar players, and I've tried to lead by example all these years, and say, you've got to have a vision of where you belong. If you see yourself, if you're happy just playing in the corner pub, that's fine. But if you have bigger aspirations to that, you've got to follow them. You've got to find a way of getting to there. And how do you get to there? Well, you take these steps. And when you get to there, you're not surprised because you took those steps. And I always knew I belonged in a theatre, concert hall. That's where I belong. I didn't belong in the local pub. I went there for lunch, but I didn't, you know what I mean? So, and I got nothing against pubs at all, and God bless them, they kept food on my table for many years. But as I said, you've got to have a vision for where you're going and stick at it, and don't let anyone do anything that's going to stop you from fulfilling your life's goal, and I believe what I'm doing is my calling, and it's very important. When I play, something happens to you, and that's important.